shit, Luffy done did it again, man. One Piece chapter 836. God damn. Nami tells this dude, do not turn this into a serious fight. We are not here for a fight. And Luffy says, the only way I know how to fight is serious. And we find out that Cracker's ability is every time he gets hit, his limbs just multiply. So it goes from 1 arm to 2 arms to 3 arms to 4 arms, and it just keeps extending. Like, Luffy, you had one job. Get the fuck out of there, rescue Sanji, take the Poneglyph, make Big Mom your bitch. I guess that's a bunch of jobs now I'm thinking about it, and get the fuck off the island. Like, this dude's about to fight his way up the ladder and cause all type of ruckus. Like, after 800 chapters, you definitely know that Luffy's gonna pull some shit like this. But I would have liked to have thought that Luffy would have realized at this point to scale back a little bit. But at the same time, like, Luffy, it'd be different if someone like a Kainu was the leader of the Straw Hats or Aokiji. They're more calculated characters. Luffy just does what feels right. He just does what feels right. And you can't blame him for it because he's gotten this far. You can chalk up to the whole thing with the whole shonen main character tropes and all that. Like, this falls in line with that. This really falls in line with it. But the big thing is like Oda ends it off teasing that fight, how everyone is just so scared of Cracker and how everyone pisses themselves when this dude raises a blade. So it lets you know that he's powerful. It lets you know that he's powerful, that his name holds weight. But Oda's distracting us from the fact that when Nami pulls out that Vivre card, everyone looks at Nami and says, we can't disobey her. She's got Big Mama's powerful soul emanating from her. So I'm guessing that Vivre card that she has, when Lola gave it to her and said that we came from New World and my mom's a pirate, this is bound to come in handy. I'm guessing one of the things Big Mom did is she put a piece of her soul inside of that Vivre card. So not only is it going to take her to Big Mom, but more than likely that's gonna be something that maybe that keeps Big Mom from having them killed. Maybe that's something that happens. Maybe that card saves their life, or at the very least allows them a discussion. And I think that if something like that happens, Luffy's the one who's probably gonna fuck up the negotiations, okay? Like if you're shopping for a new car, Luffy's the guy who walks in and says, that's the car I want, doesn't even test drive, doesn't even haggle the price, just signs the fucking papers. Nami is the one who's going to negotiate and get you the best deal possible. So I could see a situation where Nami handles the talking and probably keeps them from getting their heads chopped off. And speaking of heads chopped off, I like the fact that when Cracker was getting ready to chop the head off of Big Mom's 43rd husband, which damn, Big Mom fucked a lot of dudes, but when she gets ready to chop the head off of the 43rd husband, Luffy stops Cracker from attacking him. And Luffy looks at him when Cracker asks him, is this sympathy? And he says, well, when you see the same guy hundreds of times because you've been running around in a loop, you tend to get attached. I like that little smart aleck moment from Luffy. Like, this is one of those times where you can tell that Luffy wasn't just trolling, he was being serious. And yet at the same time, like, it's one of those things, like, this was the calm before the storm. This was the calm before the storm. And what I also like about this is the fact that, you know, once you get that moment where Big Mom says, well, I want Cracker to go back up Brûlée. I want Cracker to back her up. And Cracker says, like, Big Mom knew you would be defeated. And you just see that arrogance in Big Mom's daughter, where she's like, well, I already captured 2 of the Straw Hats. It can't be too hard to capture Luffy at the same time. And when she throws the mirror world that she has, you're thinking that Carrot and Chopper, they might have been taken out, and yet you see the eye. And even Chopper says, like, look, we're still here. So when you look at all that, it lets you know that we're now also at that point where Luffy has no choice but to fight the members of Big Mom's crew, especially when they have Chopper and they have potentially Carrot, definitely Carrot, but potentially Brook and Pedro. He's going to have to go through some of the higher ranking members in order to make his way to Big Mom. And he's going to have to fight Big Mom anyway in order to get the key to get Sanji's hands free. But I mean, this is something else though. And this is something we have to keep our eye on. You know, they make all this talk about Sanji being forced to marry Pudding. Well, let's be real for a second, okay? So Sanji has those bracelets on his hand. Sanji is going to be forced to do whatever the fuck whatever the fuck his father and Big Mom and anybody tells him to do. So let's look at what they've done in the Seduction Woods. Let's look at what could be considered foreshadowing here. So the first thing that we see is that when they're running around, they think they see a version of Sanji, and Sanji's always fleeing. He's always running away. It really reminds me of that filler episode in Dragon Ball Z where Vegeta's always chasing Goku and he's going into outer space and he's chasing him and it's never enough. It's the same thing there. And you can also go into Naruto with Naruto chasing after Sasuke. No, a lot of you guys don't like it when I compare it with other anime. Just bear with me for a second. So you can compare it to that type of stuff. But the other thing is that you can look at all this and you can tell that Oda's definitely setting this up, that like the friend of your friend, or excuse me, the friend of your enemy, or the friend of yesterday is your enemy of today. Because Luffy was fighting against himself. What if that's foreshadowing that Luffy's going to have to fight against the members of his own crew? Because we do know that Big Mom can control souls. So what's to say that she doesn't take the souls of the Straw Hats and make Luffy fight them? We've already seen that on Thriller Bark. So, I mean, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how that goes. I think we could see a situation where Sanji's safety and well-being is used against Luffy, and Luffy's going to flip the fuck out when that happens. He's going to flip the fuck out, and he's going to be depending on Nami, because, again, Nami's going to be the key to him getting off of this island. Not just from a navigational standpoint, but also with her negotiation skills and just the cool head, because Luffy, as he's shown here, if he's willing to step in to save Big Mom's former husband, what do you think he's going to do if he has to protect Sanji and Chopper and Carrot, people who are members of his crew? Luffy's going to blow this fucking island up. So my question to you guys is, do you think I'm right about Big Mom's soul being in that Vivre card? And what are your thoughts? What are your honest thoughts about the fact that Oda set this up going as far back as Thriller Bark? Do you think that's good foreshadowing? Do you think that this was just a convenient way to kind of tie everything in? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.